That's Hi, everyone.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hi, welcome.
Hello.
Hi, guys. I'm Kunlen, the host of this meeting, and I'm one of the developer team.
Yeah, glad to meet you.
Elena is not available for this meeting, so I will be the host of this meeting. So I'd like to welcome everyone first. And since everyone is here, I think we can start. Okay?
Sounds good.
Okay. Now we are here to discuss, I think we have 15 items in 5 parts. So we're gonna have like 4 to 5 minutes for each items and like 10 minutes for each part. Okay, before we start, I would like to say if you can't speak, you can send your suggestions to the chat box and we will note them down too. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, now the first topic, we would like to know your feedback on the new equipment features. And we have 3 features in the recent versions. Like the first, the civilization equipment amplification, like the silver gear, as some players say. And 2, the Ares and Achaemenid set upgrade to Imperial and Parthian set. And 3, the civilization equipment advanced refine. So we would like to know your feedback on these new features. You can speak free.
So Quinn, this is Ignat from 898. I would like to talk on a little bit about that. So we have a lot of people on our server. We've came across a lot of players. The game has so many players out there that are free to play or very low spending because of the budget constraints. When it comes to Civ gear, it's $200 to get any of the one of 6 pieces, right? A max of 3 if you're only spending $200 for the cake level. This is kind of splitting those that are able to spend $200, $2,000 to $3,000 a week to a completely different level of everyone else. Here, it's $200 to get any of the one of 6 pieces, right? The max is there any spending $200. It is great to see these greater buffs coming along to those that are in that 38 to 41 range, I guess, to help them out if they are spending. But those that are going beyond 42, 43, we're just not even able to keep up with those guys anymore. So we have those that are in that 43 plus range. We have the 38 to 40s. And then everyone else in the game doesn't matter is what this seems like. Is that the end goal here?
Yeah, I don't know if he was looking for a story as much as he was looking for some feedback on the actual Civ gear changes they made and also the advanced refining as well as the new upgrades you can do for the Ares. I think personally that the new upgrades are adding some of that free-to-play players that can upgrade their equipment. And actually, if you look at some of the equipment that's come out now, it's actually pretty powerful compared to what the old Ares was. So I do think they've added some good things there. It's always going to be an issue getting Civ gear for those people that don't have the money to spend on the game, but they have offered some new things that have allowed you to get it for free. So I think they've added some things there, but it certainly isn't going to be the amount that you're looking for if you're not spending money.
Yeah, I'd have to disagree with you there on the Parthian and the upgrades to Ares, and the buffs are complete trash for the upgrade. It does almost nothing. You can't roll the 30% refines on them. They're not a significant upgrade over Ares and Achaemenid.
It's too hard to get the requirements too, the pieces that you need. You can only get them from Vikings and the one event, and you get enough to do one piece every 2 weeks. Not enough.
Right. Yeah. He's right. Locking left side gear behind $2,000 is absolute insanity, right? Very few people can afford to spend $2,000 every month on a game.
We got a lot of people doing it.
Down.
确认一下，我这边目前是台1吧，这个是在这个地方。
我看一下那边怎么静音。
So I've heard two things. You want to increase the drop rate for the components needed to create that gear, and you also want to make the buffs a little bit better. 30%.
Agreed.
Okay, so we are talking about the free ways to get civil gears fragments like that, and for free players. For free players, or
someone type a summary for him in chat, so that'll be easier for him to take our feedback.
Yeah, we can. As soon as you go ahead and explain what you were saying, though.
I can do that. I can type.
Okay, thank you. The first, this about the civil gear amplifications and advanced refine. The question is, we don't have many freeways for like free players and small coiners to get the civil gears and amplify them, right?
Well, the advanced refines. Are you talking about the advanced refines or just the civ gear in general?
Like we are called the wheel of what? I can't remember that. The Tiger wheel. The Tiger wheel, right?
The old Tiger wheel, yeah.
And okay, I haven't written down. And how about the Ares and Achaemenid set? Like, what do you think of the cost to upgrade them and the return? The value return, like the
cost
buff and debuff increase.
When the stats aren't worth doing. So, yes, everyone's going to be able to accomplish it. There's 11 subsidy slots. It takes, what is that? 2, 4, 6, 3 months per. So 33 months to complete that set.
Because of the forge, the forge certificates are too sparse.
Yeah.
You need to get more forge certificates out there so people can do it. And then once you do it, you should raise the refines so that it's worth doing, so that you get the extra refines on that gear.
Yeah, if we can get refines of 30%, that'd be better if we can start refining it higher. if the stats were maybe a little bit better for how, especially if we're going to keep it as hard as it is to get, it definitely needs a big stat improvement. If it's easier to get, then it shouldn't be as powerful, I guess.
Yeah, I think what people are saying about that too here is that the grind, everybody doesn't mind grinding, but to a certain extent, they want to be able to grind it because they're free to play, but they don't want that grind to be so long that it doesn't make sense to try to get it. It's not attainable. I think what is everybody saying, right?
Yeah,
that's part of
the
it.
grind is not worth the rewards you're getting. I mean, if you look at like the difference between like the set bonuses for this upgraded, free to play gear versus what you get for set bonuses for like Civ gear, it's just worlds apart. It's I mean, March size 30% compared to a 3% or 5% debuff. It's very different. So that's my main feedback there.
Yeah, I think they like the new gear. They just don't like the fact that the components aren't attainable in a timely manner to make them effective. And then also the percentages increasing those to 30% would actually help that gear be even more stronger. I think you'd have to prioritize getting more components versus the 30% if you had to get some changes there, but.
I don't personally, I'd be fine with a 2-week grind with a 30% buff.
Yeah, maybe you leave the grind the way it is and you just increase the refine limits to 30%. The one thing I wanted to note, you said 4 to 5 minutes for each topic. We're already like 6 minutes in on just this one, so I don't know if you got to move on, but.
Okay, for the Imperial and the Paladin set, you want to make the refining attributes up from 25 to 30%.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. If you just did that, I think that gear would be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, because effectively you're adding additional 20%. And if you want to add advanced refining to that gear, I guess I don't even know if you can do that or not, but that would be even better too.
The dev team discussed them, so I can't give you an answer in this meeting.
Yep.
We will make them clear after this meeting.
Okay. Understood. Yeah.
Okay, now we move to the second topic. What do you think about the new features in the K55 version? The K55, some new features. The first one is Conceal of State, the new building. And second, the new technologies in Academy and Military Academy. And three, the spiritual-based seal, the new seal. And 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth, the new level cap for Dragon Talents. And the last one is Ideal Land. Okay, we can talk about the first Conceal of State first, so we can make them one by one.
That was a lot.
Okay. I read them down.
At a minimum, just put them in the chat. That would also be helpful too.
I can rattle them off here. Council of State,
okay.
The new tech changes on Academy, the seals for the Spirit Beasts, talent levels increased, and an Ideal Land.
Okay. The first one is Council of State. So we can talk about this one first.
That's true.
It's a long-term play. It's
You guys want everything overnight. That's not going to happen. I mean, do you want it to just give you the easy button?
Right.
I
Every
100%
single-
disagree with that.
I agree. I disagree too. Every single one of those, you can put a 5-star general in there and get 4% increase.
Yeah.
I mean that.
Yeah, not to mention
And
you
you
can
can
level
level
up
them up.
each slot, each
Promotions and
category.
stuff.
Yeah, that should be your focus.
Yeah,
I think-
and I mean, realistically, there's only so many generals that you're going to need to fully ascend long term, and we know that the massive coiners have already gotten there, but everyone else is going to get there eventually too, where you are getting Blood of Ares at a reasonable rate, you know, every SVS or whatever. And you're eventually going to get to the point where once you've ascended all of the important generals, there's nothing to do with your Blood of Ares anymore. And so this
Exactly.
gives you a way to keep using that Blood of Ares for additional buffs.
Not to mention the fact that you can assign those generals that you're using for attack in those positions as you're doing specialty. Maybe you want to do a big solo or you're going to do a big rally or something.
Yep.
Go ahead and assign those generals. It's a little bit more work, but you've got them. You don't have to do specific ones for all those pieces. So I disagree that it's not helpful. I actually think it gives us a lot of free-to-play people a really easy way to get a few extra buffs. What you're already trying to get on refines, you just ask for 20% on those, each one of those pieces. This is giving you right that on one level. So I think it's actually a good change. Yeah, well, they haven't been around for 6 or 7 years either, so I think they got time to grow. So
temper your expectations. You're not going to get everything handed to you.
Not everybody's 60 billion on in the first 3 months. Like there are people out on the C5. So I mean that doesn't really hold much water.
And in C1 that are not 60 billion. So
exactly. So,
but I mean, I think in general,
you're not competing against them in All Stars and all the other things anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's no reason to be that.
Council of State is what it is. I mean, I don't think that you're going to remove it. So I would say we can probably move to the next topic. Like, I think it's fine.
Tech was the next topic, the new Academy level 40.
So, new Academy was great.
New Academy is great. Realize that we all need a better way of getting gold. The Viking gold increased by going to that new hell mode. The gold just really isn't worth it at this point. I think a lot of players aren't getting past probably, I don't know, what would you guys agree with? 37 if you're a K40 at this point without starting to take wounded? Which is fine.
About that.
Taking wounded at 37, that's fine. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It is something we progress into and start getting better, but the gold return just isn't worth it on those Vikings. So that kind of goes into my statement on the new research. The new research is great. I love it. It helps definitely a lot of those free-to-play players. It helps those that are at that K40 range for getting a better defense, because we have all seen the new Academy, and that debuff capabilities and attack capabilities there are just way too high that this new Academy feature helps everybody. Right.
More gold, obviously, but
we just need more gold is what this is coming out of.
The tech itself is huge bonus for everybody. So I think it's a good move.
Yeah, but we do, absolutely.
Yep.
It's good.
There's more debuff in Academy.
More debuff or more defense capabilities.
Yeah, I mean, effectively they're the same, right? They work towards this similar goal of defense.
Right.
Honestly, you look at the details in that tech in the new Academy. It's a lot of base stats. It's not necessarily just defense. So I think you'll see that actually helps for both. So
yep.
But definitely increase gold in all bosses. We need gold.
Yeah, there's so many things that use gold these days.
Gold, okay. More ways to get more gold.
Yep.
Add it to the bosses. We need more gold.
How about the research stones and the tactic scroll?
Tactic scrolls need more.
Yeah, tactic scrolls are a problem. Research stones are okay. For those of us who've
Depends
been
on your
around a
server.
while, we had
Yeah.
a stockpile. Yeah, newer servers may have an issue. There is the Research Academy where at least you can build some. It's not great, but it's something. Maybe also allow us to build tactic scrolls in the Research Academy. It would actually be useful at that point.
Mm-hmm. Well, I even say drop
we
rate
will
in
talk
general
about
on-
we will talk about Viking later. We have that topic.
Okay,
Perfect.
we'll talk about Vikings later.
Okay.
But yeah.
So let's.
So
Like,
tech-
We'll just say
Okay.
that tactic scrolls need a buff. We need more, and not behind a paywall.
Correct.
All right, now we're on
Ideal
the
land was
seals.
next. Oh,
Seals.
Now,
seals.
what do you think
Yep.
about new spiritual based seal? We have three spiritual based like the fox and the siren and Hexos.
I
We
say
have
they-
seals for this.
The seals are fantastic.
Seals are
Seals
great.
are
They
fine.
are what they are. Everyone will get to them eventually.
They're grindable.
They
They're
are
grindable.
grindable.
The buffs are good. Yeah,
Yeah.
no
And
issues
the
at all.
grind rate seems right to me
Yeah.
too.
Seems fine.
Yes,
Well, let's not get
that would be
crazy.
amazing.
You're right though. All right, now we're on to talents. The new talents for the dragons.
And you want to talk about that one? Okay.
So
the
cap at
new level
100 and
for-
cap at 60 for the active skills.
Now,
And-
okay, you can talk about the new level cap for dragon talents.
Personally,
What's to say about
I think it's amazing, but at the same time, the reagents needed the amount of gems required to
Gems are
level that
huge.
many dragons is pretty insane.
Yes, gems.
And also, I would say one other thing with that is that it's a little difficult to keep up on like the dragon stones and the badges.
Badges,
Even from battlefields and stuff like that. I'm not keeping up with that component of it. Even if I do have the dragon, whatever the orange
Fragments.
ones. Yeah, the
Yep.
fragments.
Yeah, and that's part of the big problem is that you'll increase the amount of something required for a new thing brought in, but you don't increase the amount of it coming from the various sources at the same time, right? So a small buff to what's coming out of Battlefield would have been appropriate to give with these increased talents. Didn't have to be huge, but something,
Yes. Okay, noted down.
Yeah, and I did. I mean, I did
Oh.
do initially in one of my streams was the amount of gold taken to do some of those. It's between 2 million and 4 million just to get one thing up, and I can't tell you how many people would look at that total and never get there.
Yeah,
So
I
I actually
understand.
think I don't think the reagents on the fragments or I really think it's the gems itself that was just a little bit too high. It scaled pretty high really quickly. So I would look at evening that out to the other two, and I think it might be not so bad if you increase the drop rates and some of those other things, or allowed you to get them free to play a little bit and grind them.
By the way, anyone has upgraded one dragon talent to max level?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
I've got all my active skills at 60.
I hope it helps in All Stars with that lag.
I don't think they have a talent for that one.
Okay. Okay. Now the
I got
next
one of
one.
mine to 100.
Yep.
Can we go to the next one? The
Yep, the
ideal
ideal
land.
land.
I saw someone said it sucks in the chat. Okay, so you can fire.
Start with
So that
right?
was me. It's there's no point to it, right? The buffs are tiny and everything is locked behind a paywall. So Yeah, it's just
It's
a
a
type
different
round at
game.
this point. Yeah.
It's not what we're trying to play. It's there's buffs that you're putting there that are important for PvP that most of us don't care about designing this ideal land, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's on Zoom. With the developers.
Yeah, I think it's the paywall issue. I mean, I'm a spender, and to be able to get it over 450, I'm not taking the time to spend my money on that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty useless.
100% agree.
It's like a small game in the game, but we plan like a not a complete plan to add some new gameplay in the ideal land. Like,
Yeah.
But nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted it.
Game.
We don't want the
Okay.
tables. We don't want the gates and the bushes.
Can I ask a question? Is there any way? Is there any way to ask a question?
If it's about one of these, yeah.
What is the point
We're
of
talking
any
about
of these
ideal land.
upgrades? Yeah, but like any of it, like the last time we played challenge and we were in the finals on a top team, we couldn't function for 45 minutes.
All right, we're not to the game mechanics yet.
Right, but then why answer these questions? This is what's important. You're
We're trying to
spending
help them.
hundreds of thousands of dollars helping them do what, dude?
I'm
Take our
sure
money?
there'll be a Q&A session at the
Yeah,
end.
we'll talk.
You guys
Let's
are
just get through his
fucking
topics so he'll help us.
Jesus.
All right.
This is the first time I'm saying anything. I am a coiner. My ideal land is 750, 800, something like that. And I mean, as a coiner that is level, it is a pointless kind of thing, and it is extremely expensive because it does have higher it can get up. I mean, it increases your march size X amount and buffs this amount, but it's thousands of dollars to do that. And for the average player, they're never going to do that. And even as a coiner, it's kind of pointless for the amount that you get for the cost. It's kind of pointless.
Yeah.
So we want to focus on the war.
Yeah, focus on PvP, please.
Okay.
Yeah, ideal land's not a.
In fact, if you could
feature
give us an
any of us
option
are
to
using.
remove puzzles and all this other stuff, that would be great.
Reassociate them.
Make the game half the size.
All right,
Okay,
there was those 5 topics or 6. Right?
Now we have another 7 topics.
Perfect.
And now we move to the next part. It's which events are you dissatisfied with and satisfied with? And the first one is Viking. And Hell Viking, actually. We added a new hell level in the Viking challenge. So what do you think about this? Like the gold reward is not generous?
So the Hell Vikings, yeah, it's all great and all. You can get more of the fragments for upgrading your Imperial gear and getting those pieces out by doing Hell mode, but it's one of those grinds. It's not really a reward to good payout for majority of players.
The gold isn't worth it.
And the gold's not worth it. The time to do them all for your alliance, because most of us are the bigs in our alliance, and we're spending hours upon hours just trying to help with hard mode Vikings. Now we're going into hell mode, and that's going to take even longer. We lose our marches out. If we're going to be spending this kind of grind, we better get better rewards from it, is what it comes down to.
Yeah, and it's not worth the wounded you take on it for most people either. So
Yeah. I think that's a general feedback, I think, for all the new bosses. Exactly. Is that the rewards are effectively the same as the previous version of the bosses, but they're like 5-10 times more difficult in terms of actually killing them. So it's really not worth it until you can get the wounded down to a reasonable level. I understand we'll get there, but the rewards themselves are not really worth it. The increase
Plus the
just
added-
isn't there.
Plus the added stamina on those higher bosses.
Yeah.
Is
60
sucking up the
stamina for
it's
Hydra
not
5.
worth. It makes it so it's not worth the extra rewards aren't worth the extra cost. Not only in the wounded, because that's only one guy in the alliance. It's the stamina for everybody. So it's eating stamina. One poor guy suffering wounded, but the rewards don't seem to be equal to the effort and the extra stam. So the rewards need to be upped.
I mean, it's a long. I think it's already been said a couple of times, but it is the rewards that need to be increased for Vikings as well as all the new bosses. I mean, I would have no problem taking the wounded for my entire alliance all day if I had some sort of incentive to do that. Which,
if it
at the
was
end of the
worth
day,
it.
you're going to create more grind for everyone. You're going to create myself from doing more things and spending more time. But right now, there's no point in it.
So moving on from that, we have other events that came out, and that was one of the things he asked about. So the new bosses that came out, what is that, 18 and 19? Terrible rewards, not even worth doing. Increase those rewards. Viking rewards increase. Event-wise, the Monarch event for Monster Kill Day, why did we sacrifice all the stamina out of that pack? I think almost everybody bought that pack, and majority of the game, I would say 99% of the game got upset that was reduced. Fix that, return it back to what it was, or give us more stamina than what it previously was.
Yep.
You mean the B 18 to B 19 and some other new event boss, new level event boss.
Just in general, the rewards are not worth it. The rewards didn't increase.
Typhoons were hardly even worth it beforehand.
So you got to look at what we were doing Vikings for, and that was the gold. And so there's no incentive to do it. Someone also brought up about the reagents for the armor as well. It's a good thing to do, but it's still not worth it. So yeah, you got to increase all those things.
Since the T55 version is just released in like 1 month, we released these monsters for the entire T55 version. So we don't like all players to kill those like the highest level event monsters with no wounds in the first.
That's
I think we understand that.
But with new buffs, you will get later. You can get
Quinn.
no wounds.
But what we're telling you, Quinn, though, is we do those bosses now. I can kill all your 19s all day for say 9K wounded. Well worth it if I got anything above the 16 or 17. But the things you're getting from those.
Did I say K55? I mean K or 45.
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
Quinn, so
55 is next year.
So he's right. We would be willing to take the wounded.
No 55 versions in this in the plan right now. So that's a fake news.
We heard that before.
Sorry.
But yeah, no, it's a problem. It's basically just, again, there's no incentive to do it. We have no problem killing those things right now with the buffs we've got, the Monarch levels that we have, all those things, the generals, no problem. There's no incentive for us to do them because they aren't any better than the previous bosses.
Well, I think the perfect example is the Pans and the
Yimmers
and the Yimmers, right? Because those are you do those for two reasons. You do them for resources, and you do them mostly for tact scrolls. The tact scrolls are exactly the same. The Y6s are exactly the same as the Y5s in terms of tactical scrolls, and you get like 200k more resources. The resources are almost not important at that point. It's just the tact scrolls. You know, if we were getting more tact scrolls for it, it would be worth it. But right now, it's effectively the same boss. It's just 10 times harder.
Yes.
So you mean the tactics scroll, right? For military academy. So
well, we're doing them for speeds too. The Pans, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically the increase in reward didn't meet the increase in the power of the boss.
Yeah.
So it's not an even.
Yeah. 18s, 19s, Pans, Yimmers,
Yeah, the reward
Hydras,
percentage
Sphinxes.
increase should match the power increase.
Sphinxes, all those things.
You go from 300 to 700 power. The percentage increase should be identified by the rewards evenly. So,
yep. Even if you just
Okay.
increase it the same percentage from you did from a 3 to a 4, 5 to a 6. I mean, you just need to follow that same increase.
Mhm. Okay, now the next one is the Great Expedition. What do you think about that? Great Expedition?
I can't even remember what the Great Expedition was.
I don't even know what
Is that a
is.
movie? Is that a movie?
Yeah. That should tell you everything you need to know right there if no one can remember what it was.
Oh God.
Yeah. It's
no idea.
Yep.
No idea. Nobody's clicking on that one. I mean, you guys should
honestly,
have
I
about
can't
all this.
remember that event myself.
Yeah, I mean the problem with that event was that the free to play players or people who honestly just didn't want to spend their money on that specific event couldn't play at all, right? Like it was completely pay to win. There was nothing about it that you didn't even get like 1 free per day or anything like that. It was you get zero turns or 0 whatever unless you bought it.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, let's skip this one. Okay, the next one. Yeah,
drop the event.
It was really bad. Let's
get rid of the event and never bring it back.
Yeah, save the leg.
I'm sorry.
Remove it from the package.
The hunting privilege card.
I think it's cool.
Great.
I'm fine with it. Yeah.
I would say the 250 though per day per purchase is a little bit low compared to how many bosses people are running throughout the day.
350, isn't it?
The 350.
350.
I mean, a couple hours you can roll through that. Yeah, it's $10, isn't it? Or what it is.
Yeah, it's $10 a day basically.
But it's a great idea. I mean, but again, it's not a free to play. Yeah.
Okay, good. Do you have any suggestions for this features in the new privilege card?
I think you wouldn't have to worry about the privilege card.
Cut the price in half.
Yeah, cut it to the $5, and then also if you just increase, like we just got done talking about, the rewards from all those new bosses or even the existing bosses.
$5 for 500.
It wouldn't bother the free to play players.
You want 2 levels for this privilege card?
No, multiple levels.
I think you wouldn't have to worry about
the price in half.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, at least make it equal to what the Vietnamese are charging for RSS.
Talking about the existing bosses.
$5 for 500.
Yeah, it just goes along the same thing with the other bosses.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, instead of doing that, you could have just increased the boss drops. But I get it.
Increase it to 500 chances.
Somebody's got a lot of feedback on their
echo.
Casper does. Casper mute what the Vietnamese are charging for RSS.
Casper's got a mute.
You have echo in your.
Yeah, that's Casper. If you could mute him, please.
You can mute him.
There we go. Thank you.
Nice job, Casper.
Yeah. In the end, I think consensus is cut the price. You'll get more people buying it, and give us a little bit more resources to it. It's a great idea, though. It's moving in the right direction.
That's honestly feedback for everything in this game. You'll get more people spending if you reduce the price on stuff a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, now the next one, the Alliance boss. We have the new, like the war boss, some kind of bosses.
Yeah, sure. Alliance boss is fine.
Yeah,
fine. Rewards were fine.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
So that's all. No
That's it. It's good.
suggestions now. It's good.
No,
I think
Okay.
double all the rewards on it, and we'll really love it. No, I'm kidding. It's really
Yeah.
good. It's good.
That's fine.
Yep.
The next one, the Alliance Duel.
Alliance Duel was
That
kind
was
of
actually
cool.
kind of fun. Yeah.
It was interesting
might
to
be a
log in
stretch,
every
but
couple
yeah,
of days
cool.
and see how the Alliance did compared to other people. I thought it was kind of a non-active, not sitting in a battlefield for 2 hours to find out how you were doing.
I just got to get 20 people to sign up.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Just got to get people to actually
It's
set a
not
real
good
mark.
for smaller alliances because it requires 20 people.
Yeah.
You should have a 20-player cap, but not require 20.
Oh,
I think it's also just like not in general. It does not really take a whole lot of skill.
No.
You know, it's just like you kind of throw a march in there and hope that the other alliance has not, you know, directly countered your march.
Yeah.
But
If
I mean,
anything, it's a
fine.
good buff sync.
Yeah.
You
Is
use
there
more buffs
actual
than you do in
strategy to it?
Battlefield.
I didn't even know.
I don't think there is strategy
Okay,
now.
okay.
Hefe, so when you guys, I don't know if you have, but for my alliance, we don't have anyone above the K40 level yet at this point. Coming against somebody with a 7 million troop ground march, nobody beats them anyways. So it doesn't even matter.
Exactly. That's a hell of a strategy. Just spend more. Okay. Next topic.
what do you think about the schedule of the Alliance Duel? Do you think the each period is too long? Or?
Yeah, it's pretty boring to sit there and wait for it.
Did you say the length?
Just the in between time is a little bit too long. Like honestly, I forgot about it sometimes. Like hopefully I remember sign up. You know, then you sign up and you wait like a day or two to you know find out the rewards. You know, when realistically we all know that it's been calculated already, or it could have been calculated already. It's just a waiting period.
Yeah, do like so some people are saying do daily battles. I think instead of having it a 30-day long event, make it 7 or 14 days, have us fight every other day for the 5 or 7 events, whatever it is.
Okay. Okay, the next one is the new feature. What new features would you like to see in Ideal Land? But since you don't like this, so I think we. Okay.
I'd like to see it.
We can talk for days
okay, we
on
move
nothing,
to the
so I
next
have no
one.
idea.
We can move to the next one.
Perfect.
And well, we are optimizing the. I'm trying to provide. Sorry, give me a sec. What do you think about the Battlefield and All Stars and Challenge? We are trying our best to provide a better experience, a network experience for those battlefields.
I have a question. Is there any way? So I get that the lag is terrible because we have, 1,200 people playing in a battlefield at the exact same time. Is there any way to split that time up so that you're in a grouping?
Well,
so C1 goes, C2 goes, C3 goes.
Why isn't every continent a different time slot?
Yeah, like Elite and Junior League do not need to be at the same time as
three time slots.
majors.
3 time slots. Sure. You just helped your latency cross through all your servers. I mean, you're
even with that, like more people play Battlefield on a Wednesday or a Saturday than they do in All Stars across all of the Evony servers.
It's not challenge though. It's not challenge style though.
That's fair.
So I think if you just went back to doing 3 different slots for 3 different levels, you'd help yourself out a lot there. Now, I realize you're probably going to get people playing across multiple levels with all their friends, but so what?
Yeah, it makes it more competitive anyways. So
more time slots? Adding time slots by reducing Battlefield from 2 hours to 1 hour.
1 hour is enough.
What about just splitting?
Usually one alliance is zeroed within an hour anyway.
Yeah.
An hour.
What about just splitting? What about just splitting tiers, like they said, for All Stars, for Challenge, for any of it? What about pairing different hours for different games? Like The semifinal for the 5 through 8 spot doesn't have to be played at the same time as the 1 through 4. If they don't impact each other. Like they really don't. At that point, challenge has been split.
Yep.
All-Stars.
64 round for challenge does not need to be played at the same time.
Yeah, agreed.
And for the love of God, add a time slot between 8 and 9, please.
Yes, please.
Look,
Give those of us on the East Coast U.S. some relief.
Yeah, and 9 a.m. on a Wednesday really sucks.
Well, we can't. I mean, it's never going to be perfect across all routes, but
there's time slots every other time. Right?
Yeah,
like
I know.
it makes sense.
Does.
Also, I would just one small call out. The rewards for Elite League are just not even really worth playing for All-Stars and Challenge and stuff. Like, at least if you could provide a little bit of something that you don't get from just getting into Elite League, that would help make it a lot more competitive. There's no reason to heal. There's no reason to play aggressively if you're going to get essentially the same rewards.
In the final.
Yeah, because right now in All-Stars Elite League, the only difference between whether you made it to just the general Elite League, the semifinals, or the finals, or even first place is really just the main thing is the All-Stars coins, and the difference is not nearly enough to make people actually care about trying.
The semifinal is actually more competitive than the finals, right? Just
in Major League typically because of the castle.
Yeah, but they have nothing to fight for in those other levels, is what he's saying for. So you're, unless you're that big guy that decided to sandbag.
JT.
Yeah. We're just channeling our inner cult there. Don't say anything too loud. He might show up. Yell at us all.
The new dragons.
So at Challenge,
I
think there was a guy brought up Challenge earlier about he had a gripe earlier, and we didn't give him a chance to talk. I think you did talk about the lag. So splitting things up, I think, was addressing that.
I mean, you could address it, but ultimately, I don't see how you keep the top best 10 teams in the game who have 40 different coiners that'll spend an entire cake every single event. But the teams just underneath that are ranking 3, 4, 5, how do you keep their players coming back when they spend thousands of dollars for an event and literally can't play that event? 45 minutes unplayable. By the time it's over or it starts, it's over.
Well, I think that's what he's saying. They want to know how they can improve that. And splitting it up, trying to adjust times a little bit to not have so many.
Isn't there something on the edge of you guys are making $330 million this year, right? In 2022 your guys' revenue went up $120 million. Isn't there any kind of investment into a better server?
It's called a load balancer. They should definitely look into one.
So they do all that.
I'm not telling you how to
run
IT
executive. I know what I'm talking about.
I mean, there's a number of people who are tech people on this call, but ultimately it is your business that needs to solve that, and it's quite frankly been unacceptable for the last probably 2 years of Challenge and All-Stars
or longer.
I mean, it's been bad before, but it really got bad the last couple of years, and so we've offered suggestions for how to improve it, but ultimately that is the biggest single thing that you could do to improve people's experience.
Yep.
One tiny last thing. Can I give you one thing, Heather? You guys reward people after All-Stars or Challenge. Sometimes you disproportionately send back rewards. Like, hey, here's your All-Star Dragon. If you had a lag and they sent enough mail, kind of based on their VIP. But you have people who've also spent $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 over this lifespan, but maybe aren't coining at that time, who see their teammates get dragons and people across the server get dragons for ranking 150 spaces behind them. It's just disproportionate. And I don't understand why something that's free for you to give them. Like you're securing your customers coming back by giving them that dragon.
Yeah.
I don't understand why something that's free to give them would then be such a difficult process for you guys to do.
I think just not give people things for
retain
lag.
customers.
It would solve all the problems.
give
One or the
participation
other.
rewards.
One or the other.
Yeah, it has to be
But
one or the other.
it's unfair.
It's fair.
I think give everybody all the dragons, and then we can all
That's why
just
we
fight.
add elite and the junior league for the all stars. You can get like sorry that.
No, he
Galaxy
understands
coins,
that.
right?
I get that.
For dragon egg.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, he totally understands that. He's just saying it's, when you're trying to appease your customers out of onesie twosies and you got a bunch of people that are disenfranchised because they're not getting those same rewards.
Well, even
I
with
guess what I'm
the
saying
Elite League
is
All-Star
afterward.
coins, it takes like a year to get a dragon, doesn't it?
Oh, at least, yeah.
Yeah.
What I mean specifically is, in the tickets after, let's say All Stars ends, and 50 players from this continent send a ticket in. Out of those 50, 20 may get a dragon, but their ranking, it doesn't make sense. Some of them were ranked 350 and they wind up with, they do get some kind of a dragon out of it. You sent them like 110 coins to make up for the quote unquote problems that they had. But people who experienced those same problems that ranked even closer to 200, they don't get anything. They don't even
Have you
get a
tried sending
response.
boobs? It works.
I'm not in that problem. I don't deal with this issue.
All right, shall we move on to the
the
next one?
So
okay, I'll need it.
Well, what was the answer to what they're going to do about this issue with the All Stars and the lags and the glitches?
Challenge.
But we already improved our servers, so you can experience this new season challenge, and give us your feedback.
All right,
after
Quinn.
that.
Quinn, I have a question for you. So, do you have the new servers online now?
New server?
You said you upgraded the servers and they're for challenge. Like, are those currently actively being used? Because I state this, if they're not in place, it'd be great to see them. But the last 3 battlefields, I think everybody's experienced problems in BOC with still the same problems of the red Wi-Fi signals that we see in challenge or All Stars. March is getting stuck. We're seeing that
for minutes.
Minutes. People getting stuck in battlefields. People not able to join battlefields. All these problems are still here,
going.
and it's not even just in All Stars.
And there's a regular battlefield. Marches are just stuck for forever. 0-0-0, just stuck.
The running joke right now is that server wars coming. Wait for the servers to crash and have problems.
Yeah, it's been really bad. So if these are your server improvements, you might want to take that feedback back and say try again.
We actually optimized our servers not to increase new servers.
Okay. Well, 3 days ago we had Battlefield and we were still having major problems. So
you may want to undo it and go back to the way it was, and it wasn't as bad back then, at least.
Yeah, roll us back like 7 months maybe of that optimization.
The time. I suspect it's the number of servers they've got, and also the time slot is going to vary based on the number of people participating. I mean, these are all things with capacity issues, and if you can split them up in 3 different time slots or change the time slots differently so you don't have somebody competing for all that bandwidth.
We're not going to solve their tech issues. They have to solve it. But I mean, there's a million ways that you could solve this. We can give you suggestions, but ultimately, what you're doing so far is not working.
Yeah, the optimization
we've been told
didn't work.
Every single time after All Stars or Challenge or whatever, anytime we encounter serious lag, we've optimized this, we fixed this, and quite frankly, we haven't seen any difference.
Now, I will donate my time for free to come help you fix your stuff if you want.
We also know that prelims are always the worst thing, right? The next week we get the next match and it's better. Guess what? There's half the people playing. So, I mean, it's not hard to figure out that you've got issues with capacity. So what you're doing right now isn't working. So that optimization needs to be looked at again, or another solution needs to get looked at.
I think you're going to see this next All-Star is going to be way different. You're going to see a lot of people who may have tried to compete in it before have given up because they can't afford to keep up with the K45 release, and they know that spending is just going to end up getting them a 0-0 March, and a 700 mil rally.
Same thing happened when K40 got released. So yeah,
Yep.
this is going to be a cluster. So it'll be even worse now because nobody's finished with K40. So anyway, next one. Let's go.
Okay. Now the last one. What PvE or PvP gameplay should be added in the future? Can you think? I think you like the PvP one, right?
I didn't understand the
A
question.
sandbox battlefield where we can test marches and buffs.
Yeah, that'd be cool if you can test against players. I did also see Lori posted a video that specific servers got that new event that came out very recently. That looks like an interesting another style match. But with all these matches that we're going to have, that looks like a third type of battlefield between BOG and BOC. They need to be cut down to an hour. Sandboxing with your alliance would be cool if you could do a, I don't know, a duel with your alliance members or people on your server where nobody really lost anything out of it. You were able to just duel each other and see who was the better overall.
Okay.
Sandbox.
Okay, there's some place to drill.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like a place for your alliance to practice, basically.
We
like
can't
you
even
go in,
check
you can split it up.
Yeah, we can't even check our buffs or debuffs outside of attacking another player. At least give us that.
You can't even do that outside of Battlefield, right?
Right.
Everything's so different.
I see. And now, anyone else?
Just a functional battlefield. That's all we want.
That's really it.
I mean, you had the Huns, but what we're asking for is something similar to that you can queue with, friends on other servers or even just your alliance, just some place where you can go and test the sandbox, I think is what they said.
I don't know if Hans is the right answer, right?
No,
because
it's not, but I mean, they already had something. It's just not quite that, but something similar where you could jump into at a moment's notice an event.
Dan brought up a good point.
General feedback is, though, there's a lot in this game already. Adding more to the game is only going to make things slower and make things, make that leg worse. So unless you're really committed to fixing that leg first, I would actually not want any of these additional features.
Colt would come back and have everybody do it at the same time, and let's see what we do to the servers.
No.
That's a good point.
I understood.
Yep.
Now we have another 10 minutes for the FAQ, Q&A like that.
Yeah,
if you have any other questions, we have maybe
I think we mentioned the one, but I want to focus on the stamina. I think you can't underestimate how much you've reduced the amount people are playing with how much stamina you have available now. The one pack you had, people used to purchase on a weekly basis for $5, and they would get enough stamina to run for a while, run for 3-4 days, right? The amount of stamina, and then not to mention the fact that it's just not available in the game. You've taken it out of other events. It used to be you could get it in more than just in the pack, and now you've just reduced that to nothing. So I think adding back more stamina is going to encourage people to play more and to get more involved. So I think you want more capacity. You want more things being tested. You want people to play the game. Stamina is one way to do that.
Quinn, can I ask you a question real quick? And it's regarding the stamina problem, and it kind of goes to that hunting pack. Was the purpose of the hunting pack and reduction of the stamina a way to counter the resource sellers that were across the servers?
Yeah, farms. Yeah, and the crackdown on alts, we realize has stopped somewhat.
We should maybe talk about that.
Yeah, we should talk about alts and people not having any way to get K40 and all those buildings opened up.
Yeah, hey guys. I'd like to know how you differentiate between resource sellers and family members.
I'm not sure how they're going to get those things otherwise. I mean, the fact is the levels of resources you're getting is so high.
This is important. What you said. What is the criterion to meet that? What is the resource
so Quinlan, sorry, I was the one who originally asked that.
Yeah.
But basically you've gone out and punished a lot of players and said that they're purchasing resources, but it could just be people in their alliances helping them. How do you differentiate between what you are accusing people of, and then how do you justify all sorts of different punishments?
The real question is why punish your own alliance to help you? The game is so unattainable. To get to K45 is virtually unattainable. I play with a teammate with one of the biggest guys in the game, and he's only at 44, and he's one of the few, and he's still months away from 45. It's almost unattainable. It's trillions of each.
Well, we don't really feel bad for a K44 right now, but
nobody cares about your
K36.
But how do you get there? But how do you get there? The topic is you can't get there. Without the amount of resources is just too much.
Oh, but I think Genghis had a good point there.
Yeah, let's.
Genghis.
So let me check that.
Did you understand the question?
Go ahead, Quinn.
So Quinlan, just to summarize what we want to know, how do you differentiate between what you're saying people are selling resources, which is costing Evony money, versus people in their alliance helping out other members to grow, and you're punishing them equally, I guess?
Right. And all you're doing is alienating your own player base.
More people have quit from that than almost anything else that has happened.
I almost did.
Let's let him. Do you have any answer, Quinn? Or?
We have checked Aries Steelers IP, like their account IP. So if one account gave resource to more than like 2 or 3 accounts, this is determined as Steelers. If you only have one, if you have one alt, you can get resource from your own alt, like one alt. Sure. It won't be detected.
Look, that makes some sense. But let me give you a quick scenario. So you've got a bubble dropper that drops all the time before SVS, and you've got different people clearing that keep, and they get resources. How do you differentiate those only 3 people?
We also have the resource amount standard.
Why does that matter?
So if you only bubble drop, I don't think you have like lost like 50 billion resources.
So,
I don't
Quinn,
think
that doesn't matter.
Let's go with this weekend. I didn't get a notice, but I kind of expected that I would get one because I hit a keep this weekend that dropped their bubble, and I pulled over 3 billion resources out of them, and I wasn't the only one hitting them. So does that make us possibly, because now more than 3 accounts pulled resources, and it was greater than 3 billion resources.
Or is there a threshold
are all of us
you're
now
looking for?
Buying resources?
The point is you can't differentiate those things, is what we're trying to say.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna throw myself
you're trying to stop, but
for a second. Yeah, I'm gonna throw myself under the bus here for a second, right?
Oh my god,
the only reason I don't care if I get banned at this point, right?
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So I have a ton of alts, right? They don't sell to anyone else I am the one who goes in and cleans them out. It's the only way I can keep up.
Same
because
IP address.
The amount of same IP address. The amount of resources it takes to upgrade these buildings is impossible for anyone other than a very rich person to get there in any reasonable time period. So I use alts. I don't sell them. I don't give it to anybody else but me. There's no reason that should be punished. I'm buying backs on those alts every week for stamina. I'm making you money. And you're turning around and punishing us for it.
I mean, that's
like I said before.
That's the elephant.
Like I said before, if you only have one alt, you can use it to farm.
One is not enough. Learn your own game and how much resources it takes to actually upgrade this thing. One is nothing. Nothing.
Look, I mean, that's the elephant in the room. You're talking about, I'm on S33. You've got one alliance that has 7, 8, 9, 10 alt farms that, they've got 50 members in their alt farms alone that they have to use just to try to keep up with less than 1% of the Evony population that is spending, hundreds of thousands or more to play the game. And we keep adding things for their benefit when we don't fix the things that we have. All you're going to do now with this K45 and the ridiculous amount of resources you need is cut everybody but your 1%ers.
Yeah. I'm going to keep hitting mine. And if they get banned, I'm done.
Everybody
lose somebody who spent 50 grand on this.
No, everybody's waiting for the next one to drop. There's certainly everybody's at the edge of their seat waiting to be just done.
No, everybody is mentally done. We've lost so many players because the alt farms have taken over the server. And if it's not the alt farms, it's you can't do anything to try to keep up with. You go in and you get hit by somebody with a 4,000 buff. I mean, that's ridiculous when you can't have an alt farm. And we haven't even talked about botters yet.
Well, that's assumed at farms. Grindable. Yep.
So I would agree with
exactly.
Evony Jesus here. The monster hunting pack, that's why I kind of asked about the whole reduction of stamina and then us getting the hunting packing card. Was it to counteract these farmers?
Yep.
But most servers at this point are able to make purchases of 1 billion resources at about $3 per billion. Now you're selling us 1.3 billion at $10. Why should we use that piece? Like, I get that you introduce it to kind of reduce the farmers. You reduce the stamina so they don't have as much stamina to keep hitting the Ymirs. We got rid of Ymirs from 2 weeks in a row, so that reduced stamina out. But we keep doing all these things that keep reducing the amount of resources or our way to get resources to counter the farmers. But there's nothing
while only
really
increasing the
incentivized
requirements.
us. And and what Optimizer said, increase the requirements for everything. Make it so unobtainable that we can't do that. We're afraid to buy from the farmers, and we can't afford to buy from you guys.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
We actually,
and I think most people would probably be happy if you raise the resource requirements for these buildings, but let them continue to play how they were, hitting alts or getting help from people in the alliance. At least they have some hope. And I think it would also be an added source of revenue for Evony, because if people can grow their building, but they still lack the buffs, they might be incentivized to spend some money and get those tactic scrolls and civilization treasures and art treasures, but they're not going to spend money and get that if they can't even enjoy the game and grow their buildings.
I agree. We're buying screw it. Many of us here probably have bought resources from a third party, but the thing is we're still spending $1,500, $2,000 completing that cake by just getting the speed ups to get those 30,000 days to finish.
I honestly don't think we're the majority of the player base, though. I think there are some people that just have multiple accounts, maybe like you said, 1 or 2 accounts. They're sending out farms on a daily basis. They're probably not joining. They're probably not botting. There's many people that are doing that, just trying to farm on the side just to get a little bit, right? There are us, this group. Yeah, you guys are all botting. You're all getting resources. Some of you purchase resources. Some of you done pack loading. Some of you done pink gems when it wasn't legal. All these things have happened, but that is not probably the majority of the people that are using those alts or hitting those other accounts.
I know many free-to-play players that are using alts and getting their resources, and they're afraid to use their one alt.
How many of you have taken pity on your alliance members, not pity, but helped out your alliance members by saying, hey, I've been, farming all week. I'm going to give you some extra resources here because you've done a great job in Battlefield. I mean,
you should as an alliance with one big person at the top.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, you're not hurting the right people. I think that's the point that was making the third party people. They're always going to find a way to make a little bit of money. You can cut into that by increasing your rewards. Leave the amounts you need right now. That's fine. Just don't change anything there, but just allow us to get it easier and don't mess with these alts. It's really not a problem.
Yeah. Well, I don't need to go buy from anybody else.
Those are the guys that buy the cakes, are the guys that have the alts and get the resources. That they need the cakes for the buffs and stuff. Like Genghis said, it's 100%.
For sure.
Having the resources without the buffs is no good. You got to have both. So your biggest customers are the ones you're penalizing the most right now.
I don't know that I would agree with that, because I will tell you, I only have experience on the one server. I've been with this now the whole time from 181. We got moved to 33. When you have one alliance that dominates a server with 7, 8, 9, 10 farms that have 50 each, they have all their people, all their alts at every freaking resource place that you go to. It creates such an imbalance for the people, when they come into a situation like that they can't compete. And the only
they aren't starting on that server.
Pardon me?
I mean, they aren't starting on that server. So, I mean, you guys have been dealing that with us for 7 years now. I don't know. We can't fix that.
So why don't we let him respond to any of this?
Because he won't.
Yeah, exactly.
But he'll never take this call.
Third-party sellers, we actually discussed some plans to stop them rather than punishing all players. But it takes time.
Can you share with us what those might be? Some of those ideas.
I don't think I can give more information about that now.
When can we expect you to start to implement some of those things so that we can not worry about working extra hard to get bigger and stronger?
And be transparent with your players when you do. Tell us what's going on.
Do you know when you might start?
We will let you know when we confirm and going to implement some one of them. But they are just the idea in this stage. So, but
I think there's got to be a way to directly go after these third-party sellers and not necessarily just in a blanket. To Genghis's point, you're really penalizing people that have got caught up in a net that they weren't really intended to be.
Well, the thing is, right, you have the third-party sellers, you've hit the players that during that last ban wave, you got the players, you took their troops, you took their resources. That's cool, whatever, I guess. But they still got all these resources. The guys that got hit by pink gems, they all now have 3,000% buffs, but they didn't really lose anything other than troops. Now they're a 5 bill keep that has a couple marches that will still dominate anyone who they touch.
They're back to 90 bill by now.
Right. But you never touch the farmers. You touch 0 of the farmers. You only attack the players that are actually spending money, but never touch the farmer. Why would you go ahead and do it that way?
Yeah.
That's true. The third party people weren't even touched.
No, they weren't.
So go back to the drawing board with your algorithm because it ain't working. You know?
You should definitely know who the farmers are because it's the keep that's losing billions of resources. Stop looking at the keep that gained. Stop looking at the keeps that gained a billion resources and look at the keeps that gave up the billions of resources.
They did that. They deleted some alts. They did a lot of that stuff already too. But the
players' alts, not any of the farmers' alts.
Players,
Wow.
You need to be looking at accounts that are not on the same IP rather than accounts that are on the same IP.
There's a lot of ways they could handle it, but
sure.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a good ask. I would also just ask that of the things we talked about today, some of the basic things, I would like to see those implemented, maybe a plan. I think we've seen spreadsheets in the past with when the commitments are going to be, in a month's time and next release, whatever those things are. Give us some sort of plan as to, yes, we've decided now we're going to add stamina packs back in, or we're going to, revert back to the old ones. We're going to, increase the boss drops on these bosses, whatever those things are that you've taken from this meeting, the synopsis and what your action plan going forward, and even a timeline, if you will, I think would just go a long way, not to mention regular updates.
We will give feedback of some topics in this meeting on the Facebook after this meeting. And okay. You please, you can.
Yeah. Monthly or quarterly?
Yes, we can consider that.
Yep.
Okay.
I also have one other request. So I know Elena normally runs these meetings, and it's normally just her, right? She's not a dev, but having you as a dev here to kind of hear more of our side of things, having Elena here would be great. Is there a way that we can get more people from your team here? Maybe a marketing, someone that works in marketing, having a dev, having a customer service representative. So all these people can hear our things versus your quick notes that you jotted down from what we said, that more people can get involved with it.
Yeah, sure. And I can invite Lena next time. Yes, he will. I promise you, she will be on the next meeting.
You don't want to deal with us again?
Yeah.
Can you blame her?
I will.
Nice. We're actually being nice.
Yeah, no, this has been the nicest call we've had so far. But I guess one thing I would ask is, would it help you to get our requests in writing rather than having a free form discussion like this, once a month, or, really once every 8 months, or whatever it's been, because I feel like we get off topic a lot on these calls. I think these calls are beneficial, but I think having something in writing and having a direct response in the feedback that we were talking about would be more beneficial in terms of like actually making changes.
I agree
I
with
pass
that.
it to devs team. Yeah.
Let me ask the player base
And,
though, while I've got you all here. I actually would commit to a monthly meeting with some of you, not all of you, but some of you. If you wanted to go through our own list that we could present to you on a monthly basis, Quinlan, that would maybe help kickstart these meetings. I mean, we can get a small group of the player base that would commit some time to do that. We don't necessarily need the dev team to give our feedback, right? If we want to do it in a succinct way and we want to give them a list, I think, like you said, that's a really good point. Instead of having you capture all this, we can help you with some of those notes. Yeah.
I would be available as well.
Yeah.
Now let's look at the time. Is I think we began another extra 20 minutes. So should we call this meeting end today?
Yeah.
I think it's next week.
Next week. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Reasonable.
Okay. Yes, on Facebook.
So I just got one more recommendation real quick, and it actually came from my Alliance members. I get that you have all the top players here. I don't know how you calculated who came into this, if it was VIP, biggest spenders, all-star players, whatever it may have been. But also doing micro sessions with your mid-tier players, your K30s through 35s that aren't huge on spending, but they have 500, 600, 700 days of playtime that are very loyal and consistent with you guys. Getting those inputs would also be great.
Okay.
I didn't actually get invited. I stole this invite, so I don't think they actually did what you're saying. But
I mean, it's typically through like the top tier feedback group, which is
it was just on
mostly
Facebook.
inactive. Besides this.
So Optimizer, I got an email in game, a mail in game on Saturday saying that I was invited to it.
I did too, but then I didn't get an invite to this call.
Oh, okay. So I know not everybody in the game got that mail, because I went through my server and asked everybody, people that were at higher VIP levels than me that didn't get it.
Yeah, but I got a beta invite that wasn't on my main on a farm. I mean, I don't know how they do that stuff, but
we conducted a player list, and send emails.
Yeah, where did you get the list?
Yeah. Based on some
from Facebook.
There was that is random.
Okay.
Thank you for your time for this meeting. So the feedback on Facebook will be released on the next week, and I will pass your suggestion about the next meeting, the frequency, to the devs team. And that's all for today.
Hey, Quinlan, where can we expect that feedback? Is it in that Facebook group, or is it what?
In Facebook group, or the yes,
the top tier
Facebook group. Yeah, Facebook group.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, thank you for your time.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks,
All
everybody.
right, thanks so much.
Good job, everybody.
Yeah.